Hey Siri, turn the living room lights on. What's up, guys? How is it going? Welcome back to the Buff Nerd. How was your Halloween? How was your Thanksgiving? Did you get all the presents that you wanted for Christmas? It's been quite a few holidays since the last time we had a conversation. Sorry about that. With the pandemic's second wave, it's been quite difficult to create content, excel at my job, study, entertain the kids, holidays, and all of that other stuff all mixed into one. It's been pretty tough to consistently create content. Also, there's been quite a few new things that surfaced since the last time we talked. We'll get into that later. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you who have subscribed to my channel, who have took the time out to watch my content, get inspired, whatever the case may be. I just recently hit 1,000 subscribers, which wasn't something that I was really expecting, to be completely honest. Me starting this page was simply to just give back, give some perspective, motivate those that I can, and just keep moving. 1,000 subscribers may not be a lot to some people, but to me, that's pretty amazing. Knowing that I inspired and motivated quite a few people, maybe small to others, but 1,000 people is a lot for me. That has motivated me to, regardless of how cluttered my schedule is and how much I want to just sit back and play Cyberpunk 2077 when I get free time, that I need to push more content. 2021 is going to be the year of innovation and perseverance. Today's video is not going to be the hugest video of them all. I haven't taken another certification, so I'm not going to talk to you guys about that. That's still in the works. What this video today is going to be about is my home lab, primarily because I've been getting a lot of questions and a lot of comments in the comment section on my YouTube videos asking, oh, well, do you use equipment at home? Has your equipment at home helped you get more familiar when it comes to your day-to-day job? What kind of equipment do you have at home? And that's going to be the point of this video. If you saw the beginning of this video, you likely seen the lab that, or the home lab that I work with on a day-to-day basis when it comes to practicing and, labbing, outside of Packet Tracer, of course. Altogether, I have two Cisco 3800 series routers. I have one 2811 router. I have two 3-layer switches, two 2-layer switches, and I also have two wireless access points. Out of all of the devices that I have, I only spent money on the two 2-layer switches and the 2811 router. All of the other devices that I got were from networking, and that's what we're going to get into today, because that's going to be something that's really important when it comes to the newbies and anybody that's trying to get the CCNA and getting their hands on equipment without spending a lot of money, or without spending money at all. Let's start with the 3800 Cisco routers. The Cisco 3800 series routers were routers that came out mid to towards the end of the early 2000s, like around between 2006 and 2009. These routers were used for medium to enterprise sized businesses. There are two versions of these type of routers. It's the 3825 and the 3845, which of course is the more beefed up and efficient router. In comparison to the newer Cisco ISR routers, the 4000 series, this router is pretty old. They stopped selling this router back in 2011, and they stopped supporting the router in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, which means that you will probably be able to get your hands on this router at a pretty cheap price, depending on if you look in the right places or if you have the right connections. These routers are really huge, man. Like there's no way that you'd be able to carry two of them at one time. I got my hands on these two back when I was an intern. Back in 2018, when I had first gotten into IT, and I was extremely excited, and I wanted to, get into a data center. I wanted to network with all the teams, InfoSec, the networking team, software engineers, whoever I could get my hands on. I managed to get a chance to go to the data center at the company that I was interning at. Fortunately, I got in really good with the data center engineer, and I let him know that I was going for the CCNA and the Network Plus. I believe it was the Network Plus. Yeah, it was both. First it was the Network Plus, and then it was the CCNA. And, he got excited because I was excited. So he was like, hey, I got these routers that we are, putting out of commission. If you want, we can give those to you so that you could lab with them. Most exciting day as an intern as I ever had in my life. After I passed the Network Plus, I went back to the same data center engineer, and I let him know that I passed. And I told him, thank you. You've been a big help. You've motivated me, even though routers aren't really associated with the Network Plus, or at least they weren't back then. Me letting him know that, he got even more excited. He was like, hey, here's 2 layer 3 switches. Take these home, add them to your lab, have fun. Let me know how things go. And this is how I got the 2 layer 3 switches, just from being a curious and motivated intern. He started regularly supplying me equipment, to help me further my career, or to help me just, get familiar with things physically in person, instead of having to use Packet Tracer all the time. Okay, now before I move forward, I keep saying layer 3 switches, and I'm not sure if there's any newbies that might be watching this video. So I'm gonna very, very quickly go over the difference between a layer 3 switch and a layer 2 switch. Most of you guys already know the difference, so do me a favor and just hang in there for a good 45 seconds to a minute. Of course, if you know the basics to IT, you are probably familiar with the 7 layers of the OSI model, which would be physical link, data link, network, transport, session, presentation, application. Regular switches, which are layer 2 switches, normally reside on, like I just said, layer 2, which is the data link layer. They communicate by exchanging and communicating using MAC addresses. Routers are usually at the layer 3 of the OSI model, which is the network layer. They communicate using IP addresses. A layer 3 switch has the capabilities of course, being a layer 2 switch and operating on layer 2, but if needed, it can also be used as a layer 3 switch, or it could be used or utilized at layer 3, which means that it could communicate and forward packets using IP addresses. That's where SVIs come into the picture. Story for another day. But long story short, that's the difference between a layer 2 and a layer 3 switch. Layer 3 switches often come in handy when it comes to you using different network models, like a 2-tier network model or a 3-tier. Layer 3 switches are, pretty important when it comes to you creating labs with those different network models. Okay, done with the lesson. All right, after I passed my CCNA, which was back in August, I went back to that engineer again, and I got in good with his buddy, which is another data center engineer. And he gave me 2 wireless access points. Because of course, you guys know that I'm going for the CCNP, and wireless is gonna be a serious topic when it comes to taking that certification. Networking and getting in good with, the network engineers or the cybersecurity engineers or the administrators, whomever it is that is in the position that you want at whatever company you're interning at or that you just work at, is the best thing you can do, in order to get your hands on some free equipment. Those dudes are just as motivated and fired up about networking or whatever area of the business it is that you are. And oftentimes when they see a up and coming, network engineer or someone that's on the help desk that wants to become part of networking or whatever the case may be, they do whatever they can to help them. Everybody's experience is different, but that's the experience that I got when I was an intern at this particular company. Next, we're going to talk about the layer 2 switches that I got. So I have a 2950 and a 2960 layer 2 Cisco switch, if I'm not mistaken. And I also just recently brought a 2811 router. And that router is usually the router that you in Packet Tracer that you work with in order to set up your configurations and do all of those cool things. It's just the actual, actual physical equipment of the 2811. The 2-layer switches and the 2811 router, I got all of those at different times, but the only money that I spent on all three of those things combined was about 60 bucks. Depending on where you go, depending on how you look, you can find these devices at very cheap prices. All of my devices I found on eBay, and some of the devices, you gotta make sure that you know whether or not they come with a power cord, or if they come with the rack mounts or any of that stuff. But long story short, you can get your hands on this equipment for a very cheap price. All right, guys. What I wanted to do was I wanted to get on eBay real quick and give you guys just a quick look at some of the things that you could probably check out, and some of the switches that you could potentially purchase if you're looking to purchase some lab equipment. So what I did is I went to eBay and I typed in a Cisco 2960 switch. They give you a price range. I searched for anything under $40, and this is some of the stuff that came up. So something like this is probably something that I would purchase. It's a layer 2 switch, 24 port, $34.99. It comes with the power cable and the rack mounts. So you'd be able to, if you did have a rack at home or anything along those lines, you'd be able to plug it up. Well, not plug it up, sorry. You'd be able to mount it, and it could look like a nice little data center for you. They also have other devices like these. Right here is 2960. That's $30. It likely will not come with the power cable, but it does come with the rack mounts. You'd be able to get something like that. I've seen them go as low as $20. Let's see if I can find that one. But yeah, no, real quick, I just kind of wanted to give you guys a visual, so you aren't scrambling to try and figure out what kind of lab equipment you can get. Here it is. Here's one for $20 right here. You'll be able to get one like this. Be mindful though, because they probably won't come with the power cable or the rack mount equipment, so that you could put it on your rack in your home or whatever the case may be. Just a quick visual to give you guys an idea. And you could do the same thing with routers as well. So let's look at routers. 2811. Let's see what comes up. Okay, same thing here. You could get routers for very cheap, $30, $20, and these will help you create those different tiered environments at home. But yeah, just a quick visual. Packet Tracer and GNS3 are some amazing softwares that you could use in order to get very familiar with networking. But like everyone says, nothing beats actually having the physical equipment in front of you. So as far as a recommendation from me, let's say this. For certifications, of course, Packet Tracer is fine, and it will definitely get you to the point where you can pass the certification. But after you pass that certification, you're going to want to actually get a job in networking. And that's where you actually have to look at this stuff in person, where you have to plug in the cables, you have to do all the testing, you have to actually do the configurations either in person or remotely, in order to, make sure that the network stays, efficient. No amount of labbing in Packet Tracer prepared me for the network administrator role that I'm currently in, where I have to actually go to these switches and get cramped in the corner trying to unplug Ethernet cable that is damaged in order to replace it, or fiddling around trying to figure out which cable is the one that goes into port 22 on a switch inside of a data center. Not saying that you'll be able to do that with your home network, but you get my point. You get the chance to actually touch the stuff, and that's the kind of learner that I am. I get extremely familiar with things when I touch it. I can put my hands on it. I can physically console into it, or whatever the case may be. That's just how I learn, and that's the preference that I have when it comes to learning network and creating labs. Real quick video, nothing spectacular. I know the video probably went by a little fast. The information wasn't the greatest in the world, but to make it a little interesting, let's do this. Because I've missed so much time with you guys, because through Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, you did not see me. What I'll do to be nice and to be appreciative of the 1,000 people that have subscribed to my channel. By the way, if you haven't, please subscribe. I am going to give away my Cisco 2811 router. First and foremost, again, I want to thank everyone that subscribed to this channel. You guys motivate me to keep making content. I am happy that I inspire, those that are inspired, and that you guys, can level with me and, let me know that I'm not the only person that goes through some of the stuff that I go through or experience the things that I experience. For that, I'm going to give away Big Bertha right here. It's not really Big Bertha, but close enough. Long story short, this is a Cisco 2811 router, and I want to do something nice, and I want to give it away as a Christmas gift to one of you. In order to qualify to get this router, give me your best dad joke in the comment section below. I know, kind of cheesy, but my humor has become so corrupt and watered down because of this second wave of a pandemic and being forced to stay in the house that, corny humor is my humor of choice as of December. So go ahead, comment in the section below, give me your best dad joke, or, if you're feeling froggy, give me just any joke that is even remotely close to it. And if it's good enough, you'll get this big boy right here. Happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Happy New Year. I appreciate you guys. Let's go into 2021 motivated, ready to pass some certifications, and ready to get to that next level. As always, stay safe, study hard, get the gains in the gym or in the books or under the Christmas tree.